Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, fruits and vegetables. We are back in it. We're in it to win it. Okay, looks like maybe peeking a little bit. Hold on just a moment. Okay, just doing a little bit of an audio test here. Oh, good, that's much better. Okay. Now, what were we gonna do? It is day 11. I need to work on the base. So let's go ahead and get everything laid out. Oops. I haven't switched off my items yet. Get her out of the way. And then we're gonna set up. As we have set up for strength today. And what I'm gonna do is lay out the base, and we're gonna build up part of it to be the fighting position, where the rest of it we will build into later. And what I'm probably going to do is take a day or so to gather resources once we've laid out the framework, and we'll pick back up after I've got enough resources to complete the fighting position. But for today, we're going to lay it out. After we're done laying it out, we'll do as much as we can building. And so I want to kind of show you what we have in mind. It's going to be fairly similar to what we built for the failed horde night, but on a grander scale. All right, let's see. Oh, that's right. We are going to be strength today. We've done strength before, so I'm trying to remember what strength is. So in strength, it's going to be boomstick. I'll be honest, I do not like that, but we'll carry it around as a last ditch if we have to. All right, so we've got our boomstick. That's just going to be our sneak weapon, and then I don't have a what do you call it, mean thing. What do you call those things? The sledgehammer. Yeah, I've just never been a big fan of sledgehammer. Even when I've gone into strength builds in the past, the sledgehammer to me is just, it's too slow. At its best, it's too slow. Okay, wait a minute. I've got a mod on this one. Let me get this. Modify. Take that off. Let's come down here. Modify that. Put that on there. All right. And then we're gonna scrap that. And then once that's done scrapping, I need to reload this one. Okay. Let's go ahead and repair everything that we can here. I will, for the sake of having it, in case I just need to one big hit at the end, I will create a sledgehammer, and we will drop that right there. Do I have a mod that I can put on the sledgehammer? Anything that is going to make it more painful for my opponents? I do not... I don't see anything right off. Okay. Now, I know we're going to be doing that, but I also want to go ahead and gather as many resources from the previous build as we can. I want to get all these, I want to get as many of the undamaged blocks that are available and try to recycle them. I think that is going to be it. We're going to wander back over to the new location, go ahead and handle the layout there. So the deconstruction didn't take too long, and the construction, like I said, hopefully won't take too long. So I'm thinking I'm gonna try something. I'm doing something similar in my live stream, but I kind of want to try it out in both. That way, if I make a mistake in one, I can correct it in the other, and we'll see how it plays out. Okay, so we're gonna start. I think I decided I wanted to start over here, and let me do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I want to do 10 in. It's not that huge of a deal where I start, as much as it is just a good starting point. Okay. Right, now the first thing we need to do is dig out the foundations. We're going to dig out this location, and then we're going to dig out the rest of it. So I'm going to be concentrating on this for a little bit. Why don't you guys go grab your favorite snack, and I will, and check back with me. I will pick back up once I have completed the layout, and then we'll discuss what we're going to be doing. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is what we're kind of looking at. Now, this is a crude sketch. What we're going to have is going to be 4 towers. I'm going to show you the layout on the last tower, which is very similar to what we did before. We'll have an entryway into each tower. The center portion of the base will be for crafting and living, and eventually a garage. The top portions of the towers on this side will be the fighting positions. Storage will be here in these two. Then we'll do crafting along the lines, like I said, and just kind of a general good looking living space. It's kind of a micro, you can call it kind of a micro castle. I would do it a little bit bigger, but I'm not as adept at building big from scratch. So I'm going to start kind of small, and then we will work on doing something bigger in the near future. I'm used to converting POIs. I've made some pretty big fortresses out of converted POIs, but this particular build is not going to follow that line. So what we're going to do, this is the general layout. Hold on, that's not the right one. That's going to be the right one. And then we're going to go here, and let's see, after that, nope, I got oh, and I had it lined up, didn't I? Alright, let's see then, that one, that one. Now, the fun part is this is not going to be the, not going to be the actual foundation. Foundation's where we're going to have a little bit of fun. And by a little bit of fun, that means, hey, if they can introduce a UFO POI, I can introduce a sci-fi base. And that's what we're going to do. Now, I know there have been some videos out in the past when people showing off basically sci-fi base builds. And while I have heard of, I will admit I have not actually seen any of these. So I'm not exactly like copying anybody's work. I'm glad I did this on here because it looks like I'm off a block. How am I off a block? Let's make sure. That and that match up. That and... that should not. Where did I mess up here, guys? Can anybody see it? It's right on, I can almost tell. Okay, so that is actually supposed to be, that's what it was. It's that block. Okay. Okay, see, I did this before. I did this on the previous one. I was like one block off, but it was for a different reason. So we're just going to be doing minor mistakes here. Let's see. And we're gonna be... Oh. And then this one? Is this the one? Yes. Okay, so then that becomes a square block. Okay. Alright, now that's going to be our basic position. And now I'm going to show off a little bit. And now I'm going to show off the fact that I do know how to speak. We are actually going to dig out the center portions here. And what we're doing we're going to be levitating the base 2 blocks up. What the hope is that if I do this right, the zombies are not going to attack the actual base. That's the hope, at least. So many of you may have seen people talk about or use small plates and other small blocks that are nearly invisible as blocks to levitate objects. Now, in some cases, those levitating blocks can be a bit problematic. Alright, I'm not worried about these right now, because if I've done this right, I can copy blocks later on. Actually, I already know what the blocks are. Because actually what I'm going to end up doing is I'm not going to start out with the hovering blocks. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to use the first 3 rows of the blocks that we've got here to set it up, and then once I've got them in place, I'm going to go one at a time and remove the bottom 2 rows one at a time and put in the hover blocks, we shall call them, the little round discs or wedge pieces that will hopefully be innocuous enough that the zombies will leave them alone. And of course, if they don't, we'll know pretty much immediately. I'm going to do this one first. I don't know why I'm sitting here digging this one out first. We're going to do this just kind of as an example because we're right here. But as far as the actual fighting position, which is the first full position I'm going to worry about creating, it's going to be over on the opposite corner. I actually want to do it, and I want to make the fighting position as far away from the actual from the basic my storage and crafting areas as possible. I don't want to risk zombies attacking that on their way to the base. Alright, hold on. Let's go in the corner. This is one of those I should have learned. I've done stuff like this before, and I should know to go ahead and dig out those corners first. And of course I don't. I do this every time. Okay. So we're gonna fill this in. Bottom row, of course, will be normal. We will... I'm not going to do this one. I'll do the fighting position, but we'll do those as normal. Oh, why am I... Uh-oh. Fluffy, as somebody likes to call him. Let's get away from Fluffy. Let's get him, well, let's get him away from the fighting position, the base building we're doing. Alright, so let's get their attention. This isn't going to kill them. I want to get one at a time over here, because if I try to take on multiples of these, I'm going to be hurting.
Is closing shortly. Finish
Okay.
or come back tomorrow.
Get us a loot bag. Alright, we're reading everything. I can scrap that. We'll sell the other one. Let's get the next one over here. Fluffy. I like her. I like the name. I will find out on occasionally when I'm using, on the occasions that I'm using other people's nicknames for zombies. I'm gonna try to come up with a remember who these people are, that give them proper credit for the nicknames. See, this thing is just way too slow. It's hard to time it. No, I'm not getting off your lawn. Your lawn is the safest place on this in this county. At least in this part of the county. Let's see. What can I make? Let's make some more bacon and eggs. And let's eat some bacon and eggs. Alright, before we get started, I kind of want to show you what's going to happen. So we're going to take this spot right here. I'm going to take this. It'll be something, not this piece, but it's going to be, where is it? Let's say this piece right here. And I'm going to lay out 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And then I'm going to advanced rotate. 1, 2, no. I need to advanced rotate because I need them there. And what that then will allow me to do is, let's take we'll take this. We'll put our, nope, don't want to copy shape. I want to do a shape. I want to do a cube. And we will then build our base just like that. So they can literally walk underneath it. So we're going to have a foundation. We're going to have a series of these little discs right there that will be upgraded as we go along, and the actual base, bottom portion of the base, will be 2 cubes, will be the 3rd cube above, apparently floating in midair. So we'll be going back and doing that all the way across, but right now when we start back, I'm going to concentrate on getting the fighting position built up, and we will actually have the fighting positions pointing out in this direction. So we'll be fighting facing here. I know some people would think it might be smart to fight facing the trader, but I don't want to limit their action, limit the zombies' actions. So if you can imagine, again, we're going to have 4 towers. 2 of them will be fighting locations. 2 of them will be, think of them as grain silos, storage. And then the middle section will be living and crafting. And these things, I should not lose any support because we're basically dealing in 5x5 spaces. That's one of the reasons I'm not going full, because I didn't want to have to worry about initially building additional support. We'll leave the first row, the first full floor will eventually become a garage. So it's going to be empty, but with access to the storage areas for me to unload as I come in. The next 2 floors will be combination living and crafting. And then we'll do a top floor. I think if I'm doing my count right, we'll end up with a top floor that will be possibly a gyro landing, although I may do something a little different with that, but probably farming and dew collection. All right, guys, that is going to be it for this evening. We'll pick back up tomorrow. Actually, if y'all don't mind, we will pick back up in a couple of days. We'll pick back up on day 13, and I will have as much of the particle board layout put out here, but that's also going to give me time to just go out and gather enough resources, and that's not going to be the most exciting thing to watch. Not that particularly laying out the base here has been. I hope you join me again so we can see a more fleshed out version of what it's going to look like. On the next stream, I hope to have at least one of the towers fully up and floating as it's supposed to be, and the rest of it dug out with the foundation in place and the hoverboards up. We'll just call them hoverboards for right now. And we will work on upgrading. I'll save the anything that might be exciting for that point. And while I'm working on that, guys, if y'all see the stream, see the video, and have any suggestions, please feel free to ask. And also, you can stop by the stream. I usually stream Monday, Tuesday, Friday, and Friday, with some Thursdays, and well, most Thursdays and Saturdays. But I don't know if I'm going to make this Saturday or not. This Saturday being August, what's today, 31st? August 3rd. I don't know if I'm going to be making that stream because, well, I'm going to try to go see a movie. Let's be honest. I want to go see Deadpool. Anyway, appreciate everybody hanging out with me and look forward to joining you on the next. I know this wasn't a great deal, and it'll probably end up being a very short video. But with that in mind, come back on the next video and you'll get to see what's going to happen with the base, and hopefully we'll be able to get this thing up and ready to go for the next Horde night, which will be the day 14 Horde night. Good night, everybody. We'll see you on the next one.